Hi guys, Bailey Yeager here. Today we're going to be talking about the Judaism faith, more specifically the Orthodox Judaism faith. A little background, Judaism is the world's oldest monotheistic religion, starting nearly 4,000 years ago. There are 14 million people in the world today that are Jewish, most of them are in the United States and Israel. Origins of the Jewish faith are explained in the Torah, which is a sacred text of Judaism. It's also known as the Hebrew Bible. Another important text that is used is the Talmud, which is a collection of teachings and commentaries on Jewish law. An important day they recognize is Sabbath. It's a weekly 25-hour observance lasting from before sunset on Friday to nightfall on Saturday. It's more than just a day off from labor. It's a day of physical and spiritual delights that is meant to illuminate certain key concepts in the traditional Jewish perception of the world. During this time, it's mandatory to eat 3 meals a day, and no one is allowed to travel. Other important days and events that they celebrate are Passover, which is a Jewish holiday that lasts 7 to 8 days and celebrates Jewish freedom from slavery in Egypt, which refers to the biblical story of when the Hebrew God passed over houses of Jewish families and saved their children during a plague that was said to kill the firstborn in Egypt. Rosh Hashanah is a day to celebrate the birth of the universe and humanity. It's also known as the Jewish New Year. Yom Kippur is a day of atonement, considered the holiest day of the year. People spend this day fasting and praying. High Holy Day is 10 days starting Rosh Hashanah and ending with Yom Kippur. This is considered a time of repentance. Hanukkah, which is also known as the Festival of Lights, lasts 8 days. This is a holiday that commemorates the rededication of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem after the Maccabees defeated the Syrian Greeks over 2,000 years ago. One candle is lit every night from right to left. Purim celebrates a time when the Jewish people in Persia were saved from extermination. It's normally celebrated by the gift exchange of food and drinks. The denominations of Judaism include Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist, and Humanistic. Now we're going to go more in depth in the Orthodox Judaism faith. Orthodox Judaism originated in the mid-19th century in Europe as a response to the innovations in the Jewish practice introduced by the Reform movement. Approximately 10% of American Jews are Orthodox, and 21% of Israeli Jews are Orthodox. Orthodox subdivisions, there are modern, ultra, and open Orthodox. Modern is an effort to harmonize traditional Jewish law with the modern day. Ultra-Orthodox is distinctly marked by their black hats that men wear and the modest attire that women wear. They have the lowest interaction levels with people who are not Jewish, and they're the strictest to the traditional Jewish law. Open Orthodox is the newest subset of Orthodox subdivisions. It's more supportive of the roles of women in leadership and more open to those who are non-Orthodox Jews. Some facts that we have about Orthodox Judaism. It's the strictest adherence to the original Jewish beliefs and practices than the main denominations. Hebrew language is extremely important to this faith. Some of the religious observances that they have are daily worship, traditional prayer, the study of the Torah, dietary laws, gender segregation in the synagogue. They follow a strict observance to the Sabbath and religious festivals. Some Orthodox believe in living completely segregated from Gentiles, which are people that do not follow the Jewish faith. They also follow a traditional style of clothing that has strict guidelines. Some of the beliefs that they have are sacred narratives. Rabbis are the authentic heirs to God's revelations of the Torah, so they believe that God tells the rabbis. They believe that God can only be known through the word of the Torah. They believe the only effective way to curb the temptations of evil is to diligently study the Torah and follow strict obedience, which, to be further explained, God endows each person with a good and evil impulse that are in constant struggle for dominance within the human psyche. So people of the Jewish faith of the Orthodox Jewish faith believe that God endows each person with a good and evil impulse, and the only way to curb your evil impulse is to study the Torah and to follow its commandments. They believe in the eternity of the human soul, and their sacred texts are the Torah and Talmud. Their dietary laws. The food laws that Orthodox Jews follow is called kashrut. Foods they're allowed to eat are called kosher. Foods they're not allowed to eat is trefa. Land animals have to have hooves and must eat grass. Seafood must have fins and no scales, so no shellfish. Poultry is permitted. It is, however, forbidden to eat predatory birds. They can only eat birds that do not eat other animals. The Torah says they cannot eat meat and dairy together. Some Orthodox Jews have separate utensils and fridges for the preparation and storage of meat and dairy, and they can drink wine. Some practices and ceremonies that they have. Women bathe in a ritual bath after their monthly period. This is said to purify them and allow them to continue with their sexual activity. All men keep their heads covered to honor God and wear fringes on their undergarments and philisarites. I'm sorry I butchered that. That's a small leather box containing the Hebrew text at morning services, and women wear modest clothing and cover their hair, and they pray 3 times a day. So the dimensions of health and wellness that Orthodox Judaism connects to are physical, spiritual, intellectual, and social. Physically, eating a good diet and following the Sabbath, as well as cleansing the body after the woman's menstrual cycle. This is something that does good to the physical side of your body, as well as celebrating Sabbath. It gives your body time to rest and nourish properly. Spiritually, constantly praying and showing gratitude. Intellectually, by diligent studies of the Torah. And socially, celebrating Sabbath with family and celebrating festivals and holidays with family. The research articles that I found, the first one that I found that Sabbath has been proven to improve mental health, deepen relationships, and serve as a form of communication and binds people together, giving them a sense of community. Sabbath has also been proven to lower stress levels, and it also increases marital intimacy. Some negative health outcomes would be 1, praying 3 times a day could affect back and knees, and 2, fasting could lead to low blood sugar, dehydration, fainting, and etc. So the questions. What is the percentage of Americans that are Orthodox Jew? A, 8%, B, 15%, C, 21%, and D, 10%. The answer is D, 10%. Number 2, true or false? Judaism is the world's oldest monotheistic religion. True. Which of the following is not one of the important days/holidays that they celebrate? A, Passover, B, Hanukkah, C, Easter, or D, Yom Kippur? The answer is C, Easter. True or false? They believe that God can be heard by anyone and at any time. False. Number 5. True or false? Orthodox Judaism follows the strictest adherence to the traditional Jewish practices and beliefs out of all the denominations. True. Number 6. Why do women bathe in the ritual bath after the period? A, to clean themselves. B, to help with conception. C, purification that allows them to continue sexual activity. Or D, to honor God. The answer is C, purification that allows them to continue sexual activity. Number 7. What is the food that they are allowed to eat called? A, kosher. B, kashrut. C, trefet. And D, shashet. Sorry, I totally butchered all that. The answer is A, kosher. Number 8, true or false? There are 5 subdivisions of Orthodox Judaism. False. Number 9, true or false? Orthodox Judaism originated in the mid-19th century in Europe as a response to the innovations in the Jewish practice introduced by the Reform movement. True. Number 10. Which of the following is something they cannot eat? A. Chicken. B. Eggs. C. Cow. D. Crabs. The answer is D. Crabs. And my discussion question. Is there anything about the Orthodox faith that sparks your interest? Is there anything that shies you away? Would you like to participate in Sabbath and experience the benefits that it has to offer?